Welcome to the Dropship Podcast, where you'll learn how to build and grow a high-ticket dropshipping business and hear stories from successful e-commerce entrepreneurs. Let's kick this thing off.
Hey everyone, it's Tactical Tuesdays back again, and in this episode we're going to be talking about how much does it cost to start a high-ticket dropshipping business, or how much does it cost to start dropshipping at all. And in the last episode, we talked about some of the pros and cons of low-ticket dropshipping, high-ticket dropshipping, but one of the pros was definitely that to the business model was that there is a very low cost of entry compared to other e-commerce businesses or other businesses in general. And that's one of the things that we love about it. So what does it actually look like? What's the breakdown of those costs and how much does it start? And I think, Ben, we worked out you can get started here for under $500.
Yeah, we started listening this out before the call, and we came to 458-ish is what we came to. Now, there's going to be a few things we'll talk about after this that you could spend money on if you want to. You don't need to, but these are like, here's everything you would need to get started today. And yeah, less than $500, which is incredible.
It is. Yeah. Less than $500. You're up and running, you're launched, and you can start making sales. I mean,
compare that to like the brick and mortar world, right? Like, you want to open, let's say my brother's great idea all the time is like, man, why isn't there a Taco Bell? Like, we live right on the interstate system. And so there's a gas station and a Culver's and a Dairy Queen and a McDonald's. And he's like, man, if there was a taco joint here, it would kill. We should open up a Taco Bell. And if you go look, that is not cheap to do, right? Like, you have to go get their approval and pay them just to have the name Taco Bell on your business, right? You also have to go provide the building. You have to input marketing money, and like, there's a lot of steps there into creating that. And that's just one example, right? You could open up a laundromat, and you're gonna have to buy all the machines and lease the building for 3 years and hope that it works out. And there's a lot of expenses in a typical brick and mortar business. And same on the e-commerce side. I sell some pet supplements. I actually got started for pretty cheap. But most brands that you get started on, there's a big minimum order, let alone all the process you went through trying to get a hold of those products, get them manufactured the way you want to manufacture, get the packaging right, get your branding right. There's a lot of steps there, let alone a big payment in order to get your first batch of product, usually from China over here, and get started. And so there's not many businesses out there that are like this. In fact, I can't really think of anything else that you can start a business with this amount of potential for $500. And by potential, I mean, I was part of a business that we took to 8 figures and had a healthy exit from there. John's worked with multiple companies that have been north of $10 million per year in revenue. And so there's a real potential to build absolute monsters here that are scalable, and sellable, and do so by starting with just $500 and then growing from there on your profits.
Yeah. I mean, now, when we talk about it now, I mean, obviously I've always known that, but just talking about it, I mean, it still does kind of blow my mind a little bit to think that, even though I've known it's true since I started, like 7 years ago, actually saying it still does sound kind of unbelievable, I guess. And I think the thing it's important to note is that while there's not a lot of upfront cost here, there is still that doesn't mean it's easy, or that this is like some get rich quick thing, right? I mean, the offset to that is that you are going to spend your time, building your business and launching it, right? Like, there's real work involved here. And I think there is with any business, but that is still true of dropshipping, right? So I think the mistake or the expectation a lot of people get stuck with is, oh, it's really cheap, so it must be easy. Like, I've heard people say this. I don't know how the mind leaps in those ways, but that's where a lot of people go. And so just because it's cheap doesn't mean it's easy, but it definitely is a massive plus to anybody who's looking to get into business and is prepared to do the work, right?
And it might not be easy, but it is simple.
Totally.
It's a simple process, but it does take a lot of work, right? There's 2 currencies that you have, your time or your money, right? And so likely you're going to spend a little bit of money to get started, as we're going to walk through these steps here. But if you're doing all the work, it's going to take your time too, right? You're building an actual business. It's not like, all right, I'll spend the $458 and I'm running tomorrow. Like, you're going to have to put in some work here, and we'll walk through some of that stuff. So first up on the list, the very first thing we have is you're going to need a domain name, right? You're going to need a website URL to send people to in the first place. I prefer to use Namecheap. John, I don't know if you recommend anything else. I'm a big fan of Namecheap, and it's going to cost you about $13 for pretty much any domain.
Yeah, I use GoDaddy myself, but Namecheap is totally cool. Absolutely.
The next thing you're going to need is a place to host your store. And the go-to here is Shopify. There's some other options on the market like Magento and WooCommerce. But trust me, they're not worth your time. If you want to get started simply, easily with what I think is the best platform out there, Shopify is a no-brainer, and that is $29 a month. So you're going to have to pay $29 to get started. And if you follow the steps we outline, you're going to be able to get started and hopefully making sales by the end of 30 days. So that should take care of itself. So we're at $13 for a URL. We're at $29 for Shopify. Next up is the Shopify theme. Do you want to talk about what a theme is, John, and then like how much those actually cost?
Yeah, so a theme is basically like a, it's kind of like the canvas for a painting, right? So it sets up all the foundation of your website, all the code, all of that really technical stuff that when you're first starting out, you have no experience, you don't even want to think about. Your theme kind of layers that on and the basic building blocks of your website. What all you have to do then, and this is one of the great things about Shopify and why it makes it so easy, you then just walk in and paint your picture. So you add a little bit of design to the website and it's ready to go. So the Shopify theme kind of takes care of, if you're building a custom website, you'd have to pay somebody like $50,000 to do the work that Shopify theme does for you if you were going to get it all custom built from scratch yourself. So you got to get one of these. You got to have one on Shopify. There are, they come at different costs. There are free ones, there are mid-priced ones, and there are higher-priced ones. And obviously, some are better than others. So, generally for us, if you're looking at putting together a website that really sells well out of the gate, you're going to go with one of the paid themes, and they go from anywhere between $180 to sort of $300 for one of those. Now, I'll mention if you're in the Dropship Breakthrough program, we actually give you a free theme. We give you a free version of the best theme out there as a little wink, wink moment there. But yeah.
Well, it is our podcast. We can have shameless plugs in here all day long from our podcast. But he's right. The very first store I ever had was on a free theme. It looked okay. It did its job. It functioned. But one of the first investments I made after that was I bought a theme called Retina, which was pretty popular back then, and redesigned my entire website. And in fact, if you go to Wayback Machine, go to Google, type in Wayback Machine, click on your archive.org, the first listing, and type in the 3D printer guy, the 3dprinterguy.com. And go look at something from 2016-ish, 2017, you will see my handiwork, one of the first sites I ever designed. I think it was pretty good for my first ever go around, but the theme helps a lot, right? Just having a decent theme helps a lot. And so I would definitely recommend getting a theme. And again, shameless plug, if you decide to join Dropship Breakthrough with John and I, we give you what we consider the best Shopify theme on the market for free as part of your course purchase. Hey, just want to jump in here real quick and say if you're loving this show, the number one thing you can do to help us out is simply go to Spotify or iTunes or whatever you're listening on and smash that follow button, that subscribe button, and leave us a review. It really does help us reach more people. And if you've got a friend that you know should be listening to this, send the podcast over to them. We'd love to have them join us as well. And real quick, 2 quick resources I have for you. If you want to join us in our free Facebook group, you can find that at facebook.com/groups/Dropship Tribe, or just search the Dropship Tribe. And we also have a paid version of this podcast where you can get even more of John and I and longer form content. You can find that on Patreon at patreon.com/Dropship Podcast. All right, back to the show.
Yep, cool. So you get that, and then a couple of other things you need to get. You're going to need to get a professional sort of like business email that's hosted on your domain name. So, you don't want to set up an email for your business that's like your business name at gmail.com, because that looks like a personal email address. It's not what people expect to see when they go to a business. You want to have an email address that's, sales at whatever your domain name is.com. And so we use G Suite to host those sort of emails. You can get started with G Suite for $6 a month. You need a business phone number for your business. So like an 800 number, or if you're in Australia, a 1300 number. We recommend a service called Grasshopper for that. And so you can set up a phone number there for $40. And the last of the sort of setup things that you really need to do before you're ready to launch your business is you're going to get some branding made for your business. So like a logo that's going to go on your website that looks nice, it looks, pretty decent quality, and a few other bits and pieces. And so you can get all of that made. I'll usually use a service like Fiverr, which is a freelancer platform. You can get it done for as little as $20. You can get professional looking branding done for your business. Most of us aren't graphic designers, so you're not going to do it yourself. Or I would recommend you probably don't do it yourself unless you do have graphic design skills. But you can get it done for as little as $20. Now, you could spend more on that if you wanted to as a discretionary thing, but you can get it done for that sort of money, and get you with something that's easily good enough to get up and start selling some products.
I once started a website where I didn't even bother with it, right? You'll see this a lot on money Twitter, as they call it, of people like things you need to grow your business. And it's like, take fucking action. And then things you don't need, logo, right? Like in graphic design and stuff. And so I tried it on one of my old sites, and I simply wrote the name out where the logo would go at the top of my theme. I didn't notice any difference in growing the business, right? Obviously, as time went on and I was making sales, I spent money to go get a nice logo done, a nice branding done. But I think this is one of those that you could leave optional if you really wanted to. But I think you can, again, go to Fiverr, FIVERR.com, and you can get one for as little as $5. It's not going to be great. I would probably pay one of the people charging more, like 10 or 15. Make sure you get commercial rights on the artwork. Make sure it's your artwork once it's done. And you can get something decent for a very small amount.
And that's it. Like up to being ready to launch your business, that's literally the cost involved. As Ben mentioned, there's a few other things you might sprinkle on top of that, but that's the basics that you need to get started. And it's worth mentioning as well, for a lot of those things, like your Shopify account, like your G Suite or Google Workspace, as it's called now, you actually get a trial period as well. So you're not even going to pay Shopify. You're going to get a minimum of a 2-week trial on that. So you're not even going to pay that small $29 until the end of your free trial there.
Yeah, I think all of these are like, you have to have these, right, to set up your store. And then the thing that I mentioned earlier, again, time, right? You're going to have to donate your time here to, once you paid for all of those things, to contact suppliers, to get approved for brands, to upload those products on your website and get everything set up ready to go, so that you can take the next step, which is running Google Ads. That is going to be your primary source of sales when you first start. And once again, Google's happy to give you a coupon to use to spend money with them. And so they will give you a coupon that says, if you spend $150, we'll give you your next $150 for free. And Bing, albeit 10% of the search volume here compared to Google in the United States, they're going to offer you something very similar once you sign up for Microsoft ads as well. Something like, again, spend $150, get $150. And so very enticing offer that I think you should be able to get one sale, if not multiple sales, in that first $300 on Google, which should pay for everything else that you're running in your business.
Yep, totally.
So what are some of the ancillary things that you could spend on, Jon? Let's say somebody has money, but they don't have time and they want to start one of these businesses. What are some ways you could spend that money to get things done?
Look, I mean, if you're looking to get started, I think probably, and you don't have a lot of time, probably the area that, you can really speed up with a little bit of extra money is you could hire somebody to help you upload the products, when you get, approved to sell suppliers products, right? So that can be a little bit time consuming, that process. But definitely you can hire somebody to do that work for you, right? And, it doesn't actually have to be a whole lot of money. I have a team of people who upload products for me, and they're based out of the Philippines, and some of those guys, we might pay them a couple of $100 a week, sort of thing, and all they do is just upload products for us.
Yeah, I pay my VA $4 an hour to upload products on the business I run, so it's quite inexpensive. Certainly, you're going to want to guide them. You're going to want to make sure you hire somebody that's worthwhile, but you can get that done cheaply, and they should be able to upload your products and create collection pages. And if they're extremely good, they can design the website for you too, and go find you, stock photos for your homepage sliders and things like that. So anywhere else you could spend money to make this expedited, Jon?
I mean, you could pay somebody to, once again, set the website up for you. So, set up your Shopify website, design it out for you, in a way that, looks really well and is set up to make sales once you're ready to launch. So for some people, the thought of setting up a website is just like, I'm not even interested in that. So you could pay somebody to do that for you. And in fact, we'll do that for you at Dropship Breakthrough. If that's something you want, and we can build you a complete high-ticket dropshipping website that's ready for you to go out and contact suppliers and upload products to. But there's all sorts of other people that can do that as well. So that's another one where you could cut down some of the time involved with a little bit of extra money.
Yeah, and like I said before, some people don't have the money, they have the time, right? So that was me. I was working a full-time job that I fucking hated, and I needed to get out of there. And this when I discovered high-ticket dropshipping and decided to move all in, I didn't have a lot of money either. I was $40,000 in consumer debt, so I didn't really have a lot of money either. And so the idea of starting for less than $500, and all it took was my sweat equity, which I had tons of that, as long as I wanted to trade in my Call of Duty time for building website time. I had plenty of time. I didn't have the finances to do that, and that is why I love this business model. Again, you can get started for less than $500, as we just showed you, or you can spend more and pay someone to build the website, pay someone to upload the products, and sit back. But I would encourage you, if this is your first go around, do the work. You're going to learn so much by actually doing this work. You're going to learn a lot about Shopify, where things exist in there, how to do an absolute tiny bit of coding. You're going to learn a little bit of that as you go. And so I would encourage you to put in the sweat equity the first time around, and then consider paying somebody as you grow, or the second time around, or third time around if you build more businesses.
Awesome. So get started for $500 or less. Love it.
Thanks for listening to the Dropship Podcast. You can find all the show notes for this episode at dropshippodcast.com. And if you're ready to take the next step in your dropshipping journey, we invite you to join us inside Dropship Breakthrough, where Jon and I will walk you through step by step in starting your own high-ticket dropshipping e-commerce business. But that's not all. Dropship Breakthrough will also teach you everything you'll need to know to grow your business and take it to the next level. So head over to dropshipbreakthrough.com and sign up for our free training that will help you take the first steps towards building and growing your own profitable high-ticket dropshipping business.